Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm Caroline Haas, and I like to talk about all things abundance mindset, daily routine, traveling, and healthy living. So today I'm so excited about today's podcast because we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is Royal Caribbean cruise ships. So Liberty of the Seas is one of my favorite cruise ships, and it is going in for a royal amplification this upcoming April 2026, along with two other ships, the Ovation and the Harmony. So every couple of years, Royal Caribbean will do a refurbishment of their cruise ships, and I'm super duper excited about this one because Liberty is my favorite. So when I heard that it was going in to get refurbished, I was a little nervous because I don't want them to change some of my favorite features of this ship. But overall, I'm pretty excited because I think it's getting some good upgrades. So the Liberty of the Seas is a Freedom class ship. So that is the class that's smaller than the Oasis ship. So it's still a very large vessel. They're really large ships. They're just not the super duper large ones. So they don't have the neighborhoods. They don't have the Central Park and the boardwalk situation. They have the Royal Promenade. So, which is still really nice. So they still have like the Sorrentos. They have the Ben and Jerry's. They have the Cafe Promenade. They have Proudly Serving Starbucks. So that's like the vibe. I think they have the ice skating rink. They have a solarium. So I'm going to get into why is it one of my favorites. Well, let me tell you. I love the size. I think the size is perfect. It is large, like I said, but you can still get from point A to point B relatively easily. Whereas in the Oasis class, which is amazing, they're amazing ships, but it is a little bit of a trek to go from point A to point B. And if you went in the wrong direction, like, God bless you, because now you got to go all the way back. So it's a bit of a thing with the larger ships. If you're someone who just plants your butt down on a lounger and you kind of stay put for 5 days, cool. I like to get around and see everything and do everything. So I'm always moving. I'm clocking a lot of steps. That's the way I like to cruise. So I want to get into, I have a little bit of a list of why Liberty is my favorite. So one thing is that, like, okay, I'm an OG cruiser. I've been cruising with Royal Caribbean for decades now. So I come from like the old school cruising. So everything's a bit of adjustment for me as they moved forward into a new like marketing model, and ship design, which is great and cool. That's all good. But the thing about the Liberty is their solarium is very like old school solarium. So they have a legit pool in their solarium, which I like, and it's like travertine style tile. It's like that beige, very like Mediterranean looking. It's not covered, I don't think. So like on a chilly day, it doesn't have that like greenhouse effect that the newer solariums have, but it's got a legit adult pool in it and it's beautiful. And I love it because it's just very vintage Royal Caribbean. So I love that. The saunas. So if you're a sauna person, they have the dry and wet saunas are complimentary in the Freedom class. So you don't have to pay for the thermal suite package just to use the sauna. So if you're someone who likes to like do the gym and then hit the sauna for a couple minutes, like as part of like your cool down thing, it's free on these ships, the Freedom Class ships. They're located in the locker rooms, so they're gender specific. There's like the ladies' locker room and the men's locker room, and they each have their own steam room and dry sauna, which to me is like stellar. They're not free on the Oasis. So I personally love that. I think that is like so cool. And one more thing about why Liberty is my favorite is I travel with my daughter, and their kids' Splashaway Bay section has a real, again, like a real legit kiddie pool. And it has like a waterfall feature, and it's like a 2-foot pool, which I think all the other Freedom Class ships have it as well. But you don't get that with the other ones. So I think that's a really cool feature. So if your kiddo is like, you know, not quite there with swimming, and you don't have to be in the big main pool, you have this little 2-foot pool. I think it's cool. You can still swim, like, I forget the length of it. I don't know, 16 feet or something. You can still swim like back and forth in it. So I think that's a really cool feature, and I hope that stays. So there's some of my like pros for Liberty, and then it's going in for this amplification, and it's just gonna get even better. So let's go through the list of what they're getting. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so El Loco Fresh. They're getting an El Loco Fresh. So when I'm searching for cruise vacations with Royal Caribbean, this is like a non-negotiable for me. I look to make sure they have an El Loco Fresh. I know some people are like that with Starbucks. I don't care about Starbucks. Like 0% cares for Starbucks, but I know there's people out there, like I know you guys like Starbucks. But for me, I'm like, I love the El Loco Fresh. I hit El Loco Fresh like every afternoon. It's getting a Starbucks. Now they're replacing the Boleros to put in the Starbucks, which I get why they're doing that. The Boleros is a little bit of a graveyard, but like for us like OG Royal Caribbean travelers, Boleros, like it's very nostalgic. Like it hits us in a spot because it used to be very Latin. There used to be like Latin entertainment was a big part of your cruise experience, and people danced. People would fill the dance floor at Boleros every day, especially, I mean, it was the 90s and you're cruising out of Miami. You were watching beautiful Latin dancers, just people, they just knew how to dance, and they would get up and dance. And that's not a thing anymore. I understand that. It's not, when you go by the Boleros, it's empty. But can I say that my favorite drink, I would go to Boleros for my favorite drink because I like a frozen mojito. And I would only get it at Boleros. I'm hoping someone else knows how to make it somewhere. But holy cow, frozen mojito is where it's at, and I would get it at Boleros. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so next it's getting an Izumi. They're replacing the Sabor restaurant with an Izumi, which I think is stellar. Awesome. They're getting an escape room, which is my worst nightmare, but you know, I know you guys love it. They're redoing the pool deck, where they're putting in the like lime and coconut multi-level bar. Hopefully I don't think they're really going to do anything with the pools. I think they're just kind of redoing the like bar situation, and they're putting in like the casitas, all the different like covered cabanas. And yeah, so hopefully that's all they're doing to the pool deck. There's 2 pools. There's 2 pools in the pool deck, and then there's the solarium pool, and then there's the Splashaway Bay area with a little kiddie pool. I'm trying to remember what the spas, I'm blanking out on what the spas are, because they don't have the same large like whirlpool spas like Oasis has, but they do have spas like in the same spot. So I think they do kind of overlook the ocean a little bit, but it is a little different than the Oasis class. So I don't think any of that is changing. And the last change that I noted was they're replacing the bionic bar with a pesky parrot. So people love the pesky parrot. The bionic bar was kind of like Boleros. Nothing was really happening there. It was kind of dead space. So, I mean, that's a great move. So I'm super duper excited for this. So this is happening in April. And then when they're done, the Liberty is going to be sailing out of Southampton for the summer. And it's going to be doing 7-night cruises. I think they're going to like Norway. Sorry. And then in the winter, it's going to, which I think they're returning to Galveston. I think it was in Galveston earlier. Maybe that was Symphony, but nevertheless, it's going to be in Galveston. No, as I'm saying that, I think they were sailing out of Florida this year, weren't they? So if you're looking for a reason to sail out of Galveston, which they've been really amping up that space, I haven't done it yet. So I may be looking at 2027 going out of Galveston. I think they're really amping up that space, bringing in the larger ships, really nurturing the client base there and the infrastructure in that area, and just ramping up for when they open Perfect Day in Mexico. And then they're going to be just primed and ready to take large capacities out of Galveston down to Mexico. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you cruised on Liberty? What do you think about the Freedom class? What do you think about these changes? What's your favorite feature? What do you care about? What do you 0% care about, right? Like, I don't care about Starbucks. I don't care about the escape room. But I'd love to know, what are your non-negotiables? Yeah, I think it's really interesting. And I wonder if hopefully they don't touch the solarium. I'm not sure. We'll see. So, like I said earlier, the Harmony and the Ovation are going in for changes. Now, the Harmony has that probably the least favorite solarium because they don't have a pool. They don't have, do they have a hot tub? I don't, I know they have the whirlpools, but it's really just, it's been kind of like a dud. They put in these misting station thing that nobody really uses, but I'm going to tell you why I like Liberty's solariums, because it's a legit pool sunning place. It's just very much like what a solarium should be. I have reservations about the solarium on the Oasis class. I mean, they're beautiful. I love the glassed-in stuff. I love all the seating. But when you walk through there, I have such a frog in my throat. I think I just always do. I'm so sorry. But the solarium is always filled. You can't ever get a seat. Okay, you're walking through and you're like, oh, nowhere to sit. Okie dokie. That's your experience going to the solarium. Second experience is, okay, well, maybe I'll just go in the pool or I'll go in the hot tub. Yeah, they do have hot tubs. They're filled with a certain, I don't know, demographic, I should say, where I'm just I don't want to be sitting in this people soup with this, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but it's very adulty. Okay. The bars are beautiful. The Solarium Bistros, top notch. My favorite thing ever. But again, it's hard to get a seat. And the cushions, okay, the upholstered cushion seats, okay, they're gorgeous. But can I tell you, they're soaking wet in someone else's wetness. And I'm not sitting there after you get home. I don't know. I have notes about Solarium. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so excited about Liberty going in for this refresh. I'm following up as soon as she pops out and we get some news about what she looks like. Get ourselves booked on it and come back for more. I love it. I'm going to talk about, oh boy, I'm going to be talking about excursions next, I think. I love the excursions as much as I love the ships. I think the ship's been really what people have been talking about for the last 5 years. But I like ports of call. So if there's any ports of call that you're curious about, you want to hear about, we're going to get into it. Thank you so much. You guys have a fantastic week. I love you, and bye.